Catcher in the Rye. And last night, we talked about, not extensively, but cursorily, about how this novel dealt with the women. Tonight, we're not gonna deal so much about women as about themes and other important things. Okay, so tonight, the the main idea that we're going to take away from this lecture is the themes and the personalities, the themes and the characters. So, first of all, I would like to say that this novel, it came into a novel form, uh, was, I think, released or published in the year 1951. Before years before that, it came out in drips and drabs. So it came out as a novel form in 1951. And you need to know that the author, J.D. Salinger, he is a kind of a recluse, even after his fame and recognition. He's not the kind of star or the kind of celebrity that you may find today. He shuts himself most of the time, and he doesn't want to do any press conference or any video conference or any kind of and doing his work, and so we don't hear much from him. But this novel really puts him in the map, or especially the particular genre this novel is touching, which is about young adult genre. And in this novel, we begin to see the evolution, if you will, of the character Holden Caulfield. Now, last night we said that this could be is might be a Bildungsroman novel, but that may also be a very debatable term here. And we know, for I mean, he's a very seedy character. He's done a lot of bad things, and he's a pessimistic. I mean, he's a he destroyed the social system, and he doesn't believe in anyone else. So that's why it may be very difficult to term it as a Bildungsroman. Also, it depends upon the way you see it. Okay. So anyway, uh, we begin to see in this novel that Holden Caulfield, is writing. He wrote this novel while he is recounting his life, actually, while he's in the mental, or I mean, he's in recuperation sanatorium where he suffered after tuberculosis, and so he wrote. Is written in the first person account. Now we see cast of characters, and which we will go to one by one. The first one is, remember, he is just 17 years old when he wrote this, apparently, and then he's going to recount his life when he was 16 years old. So let's look at his life himself. All right. He is a 17-year-old, very confused young man, so isolated, wants to make meaning and impact in life. He obviously is the protagonist of the novel, but he's not like any of our protagonists, you know, because he's a picaresque character again, because somehow you feel sorry for him, yet his seedy activities and his pessimistic outlook in life and his cynicism, I mean, these are not very infectious, and these are traits that you don't like. So it's just a 16-year-old boy. Now, we begin to know that he is also expelled because of his academic failure from Pensy Prep School, and very uncomfortable with his own weaknesses. And but however, there are some saving graces. One of which would be his, you know, mm, in order for them not to fall off a cliff, he wants to play the role of a protection. So the catcher in the rye, to catch them from falling off a cliff, cliff of innocence into a dirty world, seedy world of adulthood. So he he wants to act as a protector of these innocent little boys and girls. So he's the protagonist of the novel. And remember, this is a first-person novel, live and others people's uh, traits and characters, and so we have no other source rather than him. And that also begs the question: is he trustworthy? Do you trust him? Can you trust a person like Holden Caulfield? Uh, you have to think about that. Next character is her brother, elder brother. D.B. Caulfield, and he has a huge respect for him. I remember that the Caulfield family, all of them have gift for writing. He himself, yes, he wrote it while he's in the sanitarium. This uh, his life in the after college, and his elder brother Caulfield DB. But mm, we know that Holden does not like him, even though he admires him earlier because he thinks that he prostitutes himself into Hollywood, meaning that his talents are wasted because of the production, and these people are gonna put a lot of pressure on him. So much against his wishes and his creativity, he's gonna produce artificial stuff, and he will be under the yoke of Hollywood. So that is D.B. Caulfield, and so he detests his brother. For going in that direction. We've got another character, Ellie Caulfield. Now, remember Ellie. Who's Ellie? She is a female character, very, very important female character, and she is the only one, I believe, she's the only one, only character in the novel who Caulfield can relate to, and she's the only one, only female, who can express sympathy, who can uh, like him for all his faults and for all his weaknesses. She respects him, she accepts him, she embraces him, and she wants to follow him even when he suggested going away. And that's why they have a good relationship. And she's the only person, an angel-like character for him. Uh, so that is Allie Caulfield. And according to him, she's very smart, very witty, very neat, very clean. That is the Pensy, Phoebe. I'm talking about Phoebe. Or this is not Ellie. This is Phoebe, by the way. So Phoebe Caulfield, right? So very endearing, just a 6 year old and younger. I think she is in the fourth grade. A wonderful dancer, childish. Her innocence is also something that shines through in the novel. So her name is Phoebe Caulfield. Earlier, I just mixed up the name. So Alec Caulfield. Actually, Alec Caulfield is the brother, younger brother of him, Holden, who died of leukemia 3 years ago. And before the beginning of the novel, we don't know much about him, but all we know is that he's very smart. And he wrote a piece of poem and a baseball glove also. And now he has made a tremendous presence in the novel because uh, much of the instability that Holden Caulfield harbors, or much of the instability that directs his movement and his thoughts, it's all because Holden couldn't just uh, couldn't reconcile himself with his brother's death. The shadows really haunt him all the time, and the death of his brother is so painful to him, and that drives him really crazy, that drives him really mad, and he became very incoherent. So such is the specter of his death, still casting its dark spell on Holden Caulfield. All right, now let's go over to another character. We have a Mr. Spencer. Now, Mr. Spencer is the history teacher at Pensy Prep, who uh, Holden goes to ask for some counseling, some pep talk, but initially it went well. When this was a time when Holden was just heard the news that he just got kicked out of the school, but it turned sour when Mr. Spencer really, the conversation turned sour because Mr. Spencer didn't like that he failed also in history. So such is the his poor performance, and oh, Holden's hopes dashed again, and so he had to leave him. We have another interesting character, Mr. Antolini. Now, who is Mr. Antolini? He's a former English teacher at Acton Hill School. Now is a teacher at New York University. He's young and clever and likable and very smart, and but of course he drinks heavily. The thing is, Mr. Antolini seems to be very humane and he wants to really help. But there's something that we can't understand as readers, right? We cannot understand him because why he's stoking the forehead of Holden Caulfield. There might be a reason, many people suggest that's homosexual undertone. Many people might think, well, no, he considers Holden as a young boy, and so is this stroke of affection, But Holden, being a 16-year-old, so he was really shocked when Mr. Antolini, when he found out that in the middle of the night his forehead was stoked, and then very creepy incident, and then he had rushed out. So anyway, Mr. Antolini, very understanding, philosophical, the most philosophical in the novel, and so he's a humane heart. Holden respects him. Now we have another character called Carl Luz. Carl is a student advisor, Holden's student advisor before in another school. When Holden uh, this Carlos is an interesting character because he talks of sex and his sexual prowesses all the time, experiences during that school. And so when Holden Caulfield called him, and I think he's, but Carlos didn't want that, so he thinks that he should see some psychiatrist, some psychologist, because he thinks that Holden Caulfield is crazy, that he's gone mad. Now we know, obviously, Carlos has changed, or maybe his appearance has changed in public. So that's the disappointment that he got from Carlos. We also have another character, Sally Hayes. Sally, very attractive woman. Holden's known for a long time, and he's dated her. And she's a very good girl, well read. But the problem with her, according to Holden, is that she is too, she toes the line too much. Her conformity, her conventionality is something that really hinders her. Holden really wants her to be a little bit more adventurous, and so she's just being a good girl and too obedient. So they didn't get along very well, also, and that's when Holden also, claims her as being stupid. All along, we see that in this novel, there's a lot of curse words and vernacular, the slangy terms that uh, he uses so generously, throwing it every turn. Now we have a non-present but present character. Her name is Jane Gallagher. This Jane Gallagher is very interesting again because she's nowhere to be found. Only through the narration of Holden do we get to gather information about her. She seems to be very a beautiful girl, and then Holden couldn't shake off his head, his experience with her one summertime with their family staying in a neighborhood. And she never appears, but we know that she at one point dated uh, Holden's roommate, and that really irks Holden. And there's a fight that ensued also. So Stradlater is the name of the boy that she dates, and we see that she is also the source and of that problem. Also, strange thing about her is that Holden always, memories of her kept coming back to him, and he wants to be in touch with her, but he could never successfully. So his crush, Jane Gallagher, was present, but she's nowhere to be found. But very important, he finds her very respectable, and he finds her very attractive. Now, this boy, Stradlater, whom he despises so much at Pensy Prep, Holden is a handsome man, is self-satisfied, and is very popular among the girls and everyone else. And but Holden calls him a secret slob. He appears to be well groomed, but he's very dirty in his habits and in his toiletries, or and his the way he puts his razor. He does not maintain neatness and cleanliness in his room, so it's disgusting. And it's Holden's fault only because he drew first blood, and then he hit him. Stradler hit him, and then he punched him, and he got his nose bleeding and all that. So Holden claims him sexy bastard. Right, so that's Stradlater. We have another character, Ackley. This is He's not a very likable. He's a sort of a very diminished character. Holden's next door neighbor in his student home at Pensy Prep. Ackley is an insecure boy with terrible dental hygiene. He often barges into Holden's room and acts completely oblivious. So he's got these strange habits and mannerisms that Holden does not really like. So this is a very strange character, and Holden believes that he's a liar. In fact, so Ackley is not somebody that Holden does not like. Those are the characters that we can find here. The Among all these characters, with his encounter with these characters, form about them, and his uh, inner monologues about life in general, that makes The Catcher in the Rye a very interesting novel, something that many people can relate themselves to. Right. Now, if you're following me, why don't you just type there, I'm following you, right? Just type, I'm following you, so I can know that you're still there. Can you type it? I am following you. And we'll move on to some considerations about the themes, some important themes that are really pivotal, something that we cannot really miss. So, anyway, let me move forward. Peace. The themes are the ideas, and these ideas can be finally crystallized due to the other elements, other incidents and situations, uh, and then finally we can put together and form a theme. So here, innocence versus maturity. Mm, Now this theme will basically have as its basis the character of Holden Caulfield once again, because in this novel, one thing that is so plain to see is his travel, his movement, uh, and in that movement of himself, the narrator Holden Caulfield, we see that he is a mix of innocence and somehow maturity also, because he wants to act mature, but he can't just act mature. He wants to do a lot of things like mature people do, but he can't do that. And then so uh, innocence. let's talk about innocence first. What do you mean by innocence? Innocence, we are innocent when, we're young boys and girls. They often say, we often want to hark back to our innocent times. Means our hearts are pure. There is no evil in us. There is no scheming desire in us, and we there is no hypocrisy. There's no pretensions. There's no affection. We just like what you see is what you get. And so there's no need for us to become impostures. And naturally, we have a goodness to help other people, to understand other people. So we see this in the character of Holden. Now, in the beginning, we said he is also Picard's character, but you have to also understand that he's a, in some way, likable character. He's not all that bad, evil. One instance I can give you is he wants to know where all those ducks are going. You know, all those ducks are going from the New York City during their migration time. And he has such infatuation for that, such infatuation for those creatures, and he likes them. So to be able to relate to, or to be, one of the qualities of human beings when they want to gauge a person's goodness of heart or virtue is their connection with animals or other living beings. And he has such a soft spot for them. He wants to know, he's so curious. So that innocence is still there in him. And instance I give you is there are lots. At one point, when he goes back to New York, at school, I think on the wall, something was written, the F word. You remember that? And he wants to rub it off. Other children shouldn't see this. This is a censor word. This is not good. I mean, really. So he thought to himself that. So he wants to protect the innocence of the young boys and girls. Don't want to use swear words. These words should not be used. So that's why we see that he's also innocent. Oh, he's got a soft spot for her, soft heart. And then at the end, when he sees her in the character, the sight of the happy young girl makes him so happy. And that's why this man, Holden Caulfield, is not really an evil man. He's innocent at heart also. But maturity, uh, there's a problem with him because he's now 16-year-old boy and he's going to mature. He's walking the step of maturity. Just within few years down the line, he will be legal age to to smoke cigarette, to drink, and to do. He will be accountable, held accountable by the law. He's not underage. And he's at a point in time when he knew all these, locker room talk, if you will, of all this sex and other things, and he wants to experience them. He wants to experiment on them too. And then but he failed miserably, of course, when the lady shows up. What's her name? I think her name is Stacy, right? Uh, he couldn't really have sex with her in that hotel room. Or Sally, that's her name, Sally. So he couldn't really have sex with her inside. He just wants to have talk with her. All right. And he could not also, another point is he could not also make himself mature just by, I mean, he couldn't take matters into his own hands because he failed miserably in the subject. So now, as adults, you're supposed to have taken care of yourself because at that point in your life, I mean, he's slipping into adulthood slowly without having the qualities of an adult. I think that's the right way to put it. So that's it. And then he also drinks now. He goes to the bar, and I think he was flirting with three women, and then he was also, in fact, trying to, flirt. And I think he tricked uh, one of his classmates' mother also on the train back to New York, telling lies. So Essentially, what he's doing here is that even though his innocence is there, he is also at the time, at a point in his life when he's doing the things that mature people do, and he could not do these things. He couldn't really handle himself very well in this. And then he also talks about, I think, running away and living in a cabin away from the city. I think he invites one of his dates there also to live with him. And what's her name? Sally Hayes. So he, he couldn't do that. All right, because that's just he wants to do play mature, but he's just not mature enough. And so for the journey from innocence to maturity, I think is so warped for him, so skewered because of his life's philosophy. And he's at a point in time when he wants to also to isolate himself. That brings us to the next theme, which could be isolation. Now, remember, in the first theme, innocence versus maturity, there's a lot of things that we can say. I'm just pointing a few things, right? We can also talk about isolation or alienation, both same thing, same idea. And so his life is a life full of isolation and hurt. I think if you read the novel, you should be able to pick out a lot of incidents from the novel. It's isolation, isolating himself in the first place from his prep school, fancy prep school. They kicked him out, isolated him physically, and now he's trying to build connections, even though his life's philosophy is built on trying to have. Trying to fend off himself and trying to barricade himself from the world system. He thinks he's very smart, and he thinks all the rest of them are phonies. He's using that term a lot of times, mind you. So because he thinks people are fake, but he is pretty much isolated man, an alienated man, or a young man rather. He doesn't have really what it takes to connect with people. Every time he tries to connect with people, it fails, except for his young sister. And isolation from the parents. Parents are not featured too much, but when they do, I think he talks about them as being phony again, as being fake people, and he doesn't like them, mother and father. So isolation, and from the people that he even respects, also there's isolation. It doesn't turn out very well. If you look at his experiences with or his interactions with each one of the other characters, you will see that he's pretty much isolated at the end. It doesn't go well for him always. It turned out to be terrible bad at the end. So I don't want to go into detail too much. I think you would know that. So just know that who are the characters that he is associated with, and how do events turn out with him at the end. Okay, so there you will see that he's so much isolated with them from reality also. Okay. And so he's alienated, and then uh, I can just imagine as being wandering around the streets of New York also when he needs really guidance. He's a lost man, really, an isolated man, and there was nobody to help him. And the only harbor or anchor for him was his younger sister, Phoebe. Now, we have, I don't know, this can be another character, a theme, but I think hypocrisy. I think that should be another uh, theme. It may not be very popular, but hypocrisy can be treated as a theme because he himself used the term phony, the world of phoniness of adult or the mature world so much. He brushes them off as being phony, fake people, and he does not like them. Yes. Now his main problem seems to be that he's trying so hard to compartmentalize people. I mean, compartmentalize stages of life. The two polar opposites. One is innocence, and one is maturity. So he treats innocence, the world of childhood, as being so pure and so virtuous. He treats the world of mature people, adult people, as being full of vice and phony. And that's the term he used, phonies. They are fake, they are hypocritical, they are charlatans, they are impostures, and they are pretentious, they are shallow, for him. And he never trusts them. So, but but there's an element of truth in that also when he sees all these people in their full reality, not what they're scraped up to be. They have their own problems. They are not paragons of virtue. Also, they have their quirky manners and things that we would never understand. For instance, that Mr. Antolini, the one who's stroking his forehead. We don't really know also. And then there are full of other people that he thinks do not really measure up. So fake, phony people, even religion, also for that matter. He lambasted religion. Also, he thinks that Jesus Christ was very good. He thinks that at one point, you know, how people celebrate Christmas. Jesus would puke up, he'd vomit on these people, which may be true because people forget about the source of Christmas or why they celebrate Christmas. That may be true, but the problem here is that he doesn't want. He loves Jesus, he respects Jesus, but he doesn't want the established church because he thinks the church is also another corrupt, phony kind of establishment again. That's why phoniness is is another term or another theme that we can explore to great depth. Now, here's another very interesting thing. What about him? When we talk about the theme of phoniness, the phony world of adulthood, what about him? Uh, is he free of all these fake mannerisms? No, he's not. Right. He's saying one thing another, and then he's also following into the footsteps of these people. He hates lies. He wants innocence, but he's also lying to that woman on the train. Right. Train ride home. He said all kinds of great things, nice things about that boy whom he hates so much to his mother. So he himself also is a traitor to his own philosophical belief. So we can't even trust him. Also, he talks negatively about a lot of people. In fact, most people he distrusts them, but he himself also cannot be trusted. So that brings us to the deeper level question: um, Can you really trust him? Do you think Mr. Spencer Antolini also for that? Because his own experience, he's viewing things and narrating things and commenting upon people's behaviors based on his own experience of them. And we know he's not a good boy, and he's flunked out, he's been kicked out. Also, he's smoking and he's drinking, and I mean, oh, he wants to even have sex. He brings in a prostitute. Do you think he can be trusted? It's a very thought-provoking question. So you have to really look at his character also. There will be a lot of contradictions about himself, his own foibles, his own virtues and his foibles colliding and tearing him to pieces. And then he becomes so cynical about people's life. So the adult world of phoniness, this is going to be a very important theme, and I want you to explore that. Okay, so So those are the basic things that I think we can talk about for tonight. There may be other themes or sub themes and motives that we might be able to delineate at some other point in the future. This man, written with so much identity crisis, if you will, uh, is living a hard life here. A young boy trying to find meaning in life, but he himself also not being able to control situations in his life. The innocence to maturity. So phoniness and isolation, alienation. Those are the big terms, big themes that I think you need to follow and take a deeper look at. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy reading the text. Good luck.